What's going on, you guys? My name is Hartley, and in this video we are going to break down the most recent transaction from Ignite International Brands, where Dan Bilzerian has now invested $25 million into the company to keep it alive. I am going to break down the entire transaction for you. Here we go. Alright, so getting into it, this is just my opinion. You need to do your own research. This video is for entertainment purposes. However, here's the quick summary. I don't want to beat around the bush. Ignite was basically running out of money. It was very clear from the financials that this company was about to run out of money either in October or November, depending on how much they could trim back the expenses. It is a failing company that is not making any money at all, and they've actually lost over $100 million in the last 8 quarters combined. So really not a good play here, but Dan does not want to admit it, so he has pumped money into the company to keep it alive and see if he can actually turn it into something, because as of right now he has not built a single thing here except for a whole lot of debt and not a ton of revenue. So from my perspective, this is excellent news because it means that the company has a little bit more runway. Nobody is going to lose their jobs, and Dan is going to be much more invested in the success of the company, because if he's not, he just sunk $25 million down the drain. So first I want to start with this tweet that Dan sent out earlier in the week. It was from October 20th, and it was highlighting all the dumbass journalists patiently waiting for Ignite to go bankrupt. And I guess you could say I probably fell into this category. I have made several videos about Dan Bilzerian and how terrible his company is, but I can honestly say I am happy with the announcement that has come out today, because it is Dan putting his personal money into the company to keep it alive, and that means he's going to be a whole lot more dedicated, and he's probably not going to be putting the big fancy yachts and the fancy jets on the company card anymore. So before we get into the announcement, let's just review the most recent financials. If you want more details on this particular topic, definitely check out my last video. But basically the company's lost $100 million in the last 2 years. Their last quarter was $7.4 million loss, and they only generated $3 million in revenue in the last quarter. So they lost $7.4 million, and on the top line, the revenue line, they only brought in $3.17 million. So definitely not a good sign there. They also have $37.6 million in liabilities, and the $25 million in convertible notes is actually one of the main reasons they went through this transaction. So I'm going to exit my PowerPoint and bring up the actual news release. Okay guys, so this is what the actual press release looks like. As you can see, Ignite International Brands. If you want a link to this, I will put it down in the description to this video. But as you can see, it came out of Ontario, October 23rd, 2020. Ignite International Brands basically goes on to talk about the company, and then Dan invests $5 million into the company here, and he invests another $20 million down here into paying off that debt. Now if you want to read this, I'll put the link below, but I'm basically going to explain it in this PowerPoint because it does get a little complicated. Okay, so let's talk about why did they do it. The number one reason that they did this is because they are out of money. So Dan putting $5 million into the company actually puts $5 million into their cash account, and it allows them to pay all of their bills and continue operating. The second reason is they probably had some very upset creditors. If you had lent this company $25 million and you looked at those financials, you would be extremely worried about getting that money back. And so I'm sure they had a couple of calls from a variety of different creditors, and I'm sure that the majority of this move was designed to appease some of those creditors and not have their loans get completely pulled and put this company out of business. And lastly, Dan does not want to take the loss. He could not have it on his reputation that Ignite fails, and so this is sort of, in my eyes, his last-ditch effort to give the company a little bit of runway, try and make some actual gross profit so that it can sustain itself, and hopefully it'll be here in a couple years. Because I don't want this company to go out of business. That would mean people lose their jobs and creditors lose their money and suppliers don't get paid, and I don't want that to happen at all. So how does this all break down and how does it work? Well, the first part is really simple. The company will issue Dan 50,000 shares in return for $5 million. This will give the company $5 million in its cash account to actually continue operating and paying its bills, and Dan will now own a larger position in the company. Okay, so the second part is a little bit more complicated. Basically what's going to happen here is Dan is going to go to the creditor and he's going to give him $20 million in return for the rights to the Ignite debt. At that point, Dan will be out $20 million and that creditor will be paid back, which is an excellent thing. And Dan will now own the rights to the debt of Ignite. He's going to then turn around and trade that for stock. And then Ignite will actually own its own debt and be able to completely cancel it out. And Dan will own a larger position in Ignite in the form of stock. And that is how Dan is investing $25 million into Ignite. And the end result of this is basically going to be Ignite has more money to keep the company alive. The creditor creditor gets paid back, which I'm sure they are extremely happy about because this was a very risky loan. And Dan is much more heavily invested in the success of Ignite, which is what we would like to see as investors, because hopefully it means he's not going to be spending all of the company money on these lavish, extravagant excursions. And fourthly, the Ignite balance sheet is going to look drastically better. They have about $37 million of liabilities, and by eliminating $20 million of that, they will significantly improve their balance sheet as well as reduce their interest expenses on a quarterly basis, which will hopefully allow them to generate some actual gross profit and hopefully some net profit at the end of the day. And hopefully less people will lose money on this company. That is the goal here, and that's also one of the reasons why I'm making these videos. So if you guys get any value out of this video, please consider hitting that like and subscribe button. And if you're interested in a free stock market course, definitely consider checking out the links below. I offer a full stock market course. It is hosted on Skillshare, and you get a 2-week free trial when you sign up with the link below. If you can do the entire course in 2 weeks, you get it absolutely free. And trust me, there's over 8 hours of content in there. There's over 500 students that have gone through it, and it is well worth it. And if you're also interested in $50 in free legal advice, I have a link down there as well. It is literally a $50 coupon to use towards whatever you want. Definitely check that out, and I will see you guys in the next video. Peace.